At this time, may we have the Majority Leader of the United States Senate, the Honorable Chuck Schumer, administer the oath of office to Letitia James as Attorney General of the State of New York, joined by former Assembly Member Annette Robinson.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. It's great to be here. First, another round of applause for the great, great Metropolitan Music Ministry. You did a great job. And more in the good news department. While we're sitting here, the Giants are ahead 21-3 at halftime. And the Bills are going to kick Cincinnati's butt tomorrow night. Any Cincinnati fans here? Sorry. Okay, now it's so great to be here, everybody, to swear in our amazing, amazing Attorney General, Tish James. I want to start off by acknowledging the other great elected officials who are being sworn in today: Controller Tom DiNapoli, Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado, and our first woman governor, breaking the glass ceiling with strength and effectiveness, Kathy Hochul. Let's have another round of applause for her. And of course, I want to thank the clergy who are here with us today, the wonderful, wonderful Reverend Dr. A.R. Bernard, Imam Safri Bacchus, and Rabbi Deborah Bravo. As people of faith, we pray for everybody in Western New York who are dealing with the after effects of the deadly winter storms. And we especially remember the 39 souls who we've lost and pray for them and their families. I've been working closely with Governor Hochul and our other local elected officials to make sure that New York gets the federal resources we need to recover. And finally, I want to personally thank all of you who are here today because you care so much about the future of our great state of New York and the future of our great country. Thank you for being here. Now more than ever, folks, we need fighters like Tish James who will safeguard the rule of law at a time when it is under greater threat than perhaps at any time in the history of this great union in living memory. Tish was made for this moment. Now, she wasn't born with a silver spoon in her mouth, as I like to say in Brooklyn, where Tish and I have both been born and raised. She got here the old-fashioned way. She worked her way up the ladder step by step. She earned it. And dare I say, Tish learned a thing or two about fairness and justice and sharing as one of 8 children growing up under one roof. She continued the learning process in New York City's great public education system at Fort Hamilton High School and then Lehman College. After she graduated from Howard Law School, she could have gone into private practice, made a lot of money. That's not Tish. She wanted to give back. In fact, I first met Tish when I was running my first Senate campaign against the powerful Republican Senate incumbent Al D'Amato. At that time, Tish was working for former council member Al Vann. My race was considered an uphill battle, so Al lent Tish to my campaign. She did such an amazing job. She was so good that I offered her to be one of my 2 chiefs, come on my staff. I had one for senator with her help. And I offered her to be one of my 2 chiefs of staff in either New York or DC. But it turns out, for the good of all of us, Tish had other plans, better ideas. She went into elected office, and New York is so much better for it. As Attorney General, Tish has taken on some of the most powerful and corrupt entrenched interests in the country. From our former president, the corrupt Trump Organization, to the National Rifle Association and gun lobby, to Big Pharma, to corporate profiteers and polluters. There isn't anyone that Tish isn't afraid to hold accountable in the courts without fear or favor. And she does it with erudition, with strength, with compassion. Tish When it comes to attorneys general, nobody does it better. So it's a great day for Tish and her family. No, I'm not going to talk about Benjamin Franklin, don't worry. It's a great day for New York State and a great day for America. And now, if you'll humor me a moment, I'd like to reflect on some more reasons to be grateful this New Year's Day. First, personally, I'm honored that the voters of New York elected to give me another full term in office. My swearing-in ceremony is this week in Washington, and I will officially become the first ever U.S. Senator to represent New York for 5 terms in the United States Senate. And in the Senate, we just finished, as you know, the most productive legislative session in decades that benefited all Americans, and in particular, we made sure it benefited New York. It's good to have the majority leader from New York, even though he's in Washington, Tom. A little over a week ago, we passed a major appropriations package that had so many good things in it. 30% increase in child care, raising Pell Grants for students, helping our 9/11 responders. It's going to help working class people everywhere. And one particular issue I'd like to mention, because Tish was at the forefront of this issue and was working so hard for it, working with my office to advance it, is improving the health of young mothers, particularly women of color, and helping them raise healthy babies. Some people call it the momnibus, and this appropriations package, with Tish's help, included many of its good provisions. We permanently extended a policy from the American Rescue Plan to let states give a full year of postpartum coverage for mothers on Medicaid and CHIP. We provided every child in America who qualifies for Medicaid or CHIP 1 year of guaranteed continuous health coverage. They used to be kicked off all the time. And Tish helped us push those things. And of course, so many other things we accomplished in this, probably the most historic legislative session in over 50 years. We took steps to protect our democracy against future attack. We reformed the Electoral College with the Electoral Count Act. We passed the first major gun safety bill, national, in years. We authorized the Violence Against Women Act. We boosted veteran health care to cover burn pits exposure, and we confirmed nearly 100 qualified judges to lifetime appointments to the bench. 3/4 are women, 2/3 are people of color, many with progressive backgrounds like the great Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first black woman and first public defender on the court. We passed a massive infrastructure law, a CHIPS and Science Act. These are all going to be billions of dollars spent, all with union labor. And finally, the Inflation Reduction Act, the most consequential climate change legislation in history. So, my friends, as Tish James and all of you know, that's what we're able to accomplish in Albany and in Washington when we fight unapologetically for our values. And nobody embodies that fighting spirit more than our Attorney General, blazing a trail for progressive prosecutors across the nation. I know I'm not alone in saying I can't wait to see what Tish is going to accomplish in the next 4 years, given how much she's done already. So, without further ado, it's my honor to formally swear in our Attorney General into her next term, which I have no doubt will be even more productive and impactful as the last. Okay.
Family.
It's a very nice family. Very nice. Would everyone like to say a few words?
No.
Okay. Tish, please raise your right hand, and the great Annette Robinson is holding the Bible. Let's have a hand. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Letitia Ann James, do solemnly swear
I, Letitia Ann James, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the great state of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Attorney General of the State of New York,
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the New York State Attorney General,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Tish James. Hi, family. Are we supposed to stay here?
Love you more. Before I begin my formal remarks, I would be remiss if I did not give my thoughts and my prayers to the residents of Buffalo and Erie County for all of those who have lost their lives. Last year was a tragic year for Buffalo, and although words cannot bring back all of those that we lost, but I promised, as the Attorney General of the State of New York, to work with Governor Hochul and the state legislature to address the issues of the residents of Buffalo and also to heal their hearts. May God be with all of you. As you can see, I have a rather large family, but they're my strength and my protection. So good afternoon. It is my profound honor to stand before you to again pledge my service to you, the people of the great state of New York, as your Attorney General. I want to congratulate Kathy Hochul on this historic day. I know that behind me it said history. It should be changed to herstory. To Lieutenant Governor Delgado, to my good friend, Controller DiNapoli, it is an honor to be here with the leaders of our great state. I want to thank Majority Leader Chuck Schumer for swearing me in, and yes, I turned down his offer to serve in his administration because I love Brooklyn. To Assemblywoman Annette Robinson, who is my political mother, who stands here today holding the Bible of my late mother, I thank her. And all the other elected officials who serve our communities, the great New York State Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, the great Speaker of the New York State Assembly, Carl Hastie, members of Congress and members of the legislature and local mayors. I believe my mayor, Mayor Adams, is here, even though all of you are my mayor. Local elected officials, both borough presidents and citywide offices, and of course, my family, my brothers, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, Sharani Perry, Bishop Chantel, Renee Gregory, all of my good friends who provide a wedge of protection around me and who pray for me each and every day. I thank them. 4 years ago, I made a commitment to use this office as a force for justice. I promised to fight for all New Yorkers, regardless of your political affiliation. I promised that I would never be afraid to take on those forces that violated the law. We took on giants, no matter how powerful, influential, or wealthy. We held those accountable who engaged in false and deceptive business practices and dedicated every waking minute to improving the lives of New Yorkers. And the proof is in all that we accomplished together. During my first term, the Office of the Attorney General secured more than $7.5 billion for New York from from those who tried to take advantage of our residents and to skirt our laws. And that includes more than $2.5 billion from the companies responsible for the scourge of the opioid crisis. Because of our work with the legislature, that money has already started flowing directly to communities for treatment and prevention and education. We stood up to big tech and predatory landlords and gun traffickers and rooted out corruption. We took down dangerous drug and gun trafficking rings. We removed more than 4,000 guns off of the streets of New York State. We've cracked down on companies illegally selling ghost guns. We protected access to reproductive health care because, ladies, it's our bodies and our choice. We defended the rights of the LGBTQ community and immigrant communities who are under attack. Going all the way to the United States Supreme Court to block a question about citizenship from the census and to protect DACA citizens, residents, and the lives of so many dreamers who simply want to dream and live in the great country called the United States of America. We took on landlords that harassed tenants and exposed children to dangerous lead paint. We cracked down on businesses that took advantage of people in crisis and price gouged essential goods, including businesses in Buffalo who unfortunately engaged in price gouging during this recent storm. We protected millions of dollars in settlement funds, and we used those settlement funds to build and stabilize affordable housing all throughout the state of New York. But these past few years have presented also historic challenges: COVID, economic uncertainty, and a moral crisis that has ignited the flames of hatred and division that have always simmered just below the surface of our society. Vulnerable populations are becoming more afraid every day because of the vitriol. And the divide, unfortunately, my friends, only grows. As opposed to bringing us together, what we need is a voice, a moral voice, to say that we, all of us, should be united as one in this great country. And that which separates us are nothing more than artificial constructs. And the reality is that we all bleed red, and we should be united as one. Civility, respect, and a basic human understanding of our differences, unfortunately, has dissipated. The social contracts that we have worked so hard to build are starting to unravel. And in the face of such challenges, New Yorkers are calling out to all of us and for government to step up and to rise to the occasion. And that's exactly what I pledge to do over the next 4 years as your Attorney General. So we start in our new term. We will continue to hold those accountable to abuse their power and tackle the greatest issues impacting New Yorkers. And that means bringing New Yorkers from every corner of this state to face head-on the divisions caused by politics and hate and fear, addressing the lack of access to resources for housing, and putting more of our settlement funds to build housing and preserve affordable housing, to stop fraudsters who are stealing the homes of senior citizens, this deed theft, and who scam our communities, strengthening laws to protect homeowners and to prosecute those who hurt them, and addressing the systemic disparities that exist in our healthcare system through greater transparency and oversight, providing resources from settlement funds for the mental health crisis that we see every day all throughout the state of New York. That too many are struggling with, And let's be honest, they're our neighbors, they're members of our family, they're part of our community, and we have a responsibility to assist them because, again, no one, unfortunately, should be living on the grates of New York City, and no one should be living in the subway in New York City. We need to offer them help with professionals that can do the job. And we should overcome the barriers that have been a dangerous roadblock to them getting care. We need to work with local governments to prevent crime and gun violence that is plaguing our streets, and stopping nursing home abuses that have endangered our most vulnerable, and working with the opioid task force to distribute billions of dollars to communities to stop the harm caused by the opioid crisis, because I've heard from so many that the fentanyl crisis is claiming so many lives in New York State. And we need to join together to make sure that the opioid funds are distributed evenly and fairly all throughout the state of New York. And while the underlying inequalities in our society are much the same as they have been for generations, they are manifesting in new and unchecked ways, fueled by new technology that has led to great advancement, but when left unregulated, also lead to great harm. And we must step up to meet these new challenges, and that means regulating cryptocurrency and other risky financial products that threaten the stability of our markets and the life-saving of working people in the great state of New York. They can no longer go unregulated. There have been too many abuses, and too many seniors and working people have lost their pensions and their hard-saved monies as a result of these risky products. Stopping companies that try to evade our common-sense gun laws by selling ghost guns and weapons that pose one of the greatest threats to public safety, and taking on social media platforms and shining a spotlight on the corners of the internet to root out the hatred and violence that is eroding the very foundation of our society. And more importantly, protecting young people from the dangers and harms posed by big tech. These challenges may feel great, but so are the solutions. It is our responsibility to answer the call and to take on those who seek to move us backwards. And that's what I pledge to do. I pledge to continue to stand up for all New Yorkers, especially those who have been left out of the sunshine of progress. Because the law, my friends, is the great equalizer. And it is the office of the New York State Attorney General that serves both as a sword and as a shield. And over the past 4 years, we have proven to be fearless in our pursuit of simple justice. But much work remains ahead, because justice and equality are never absolute. We will always face challenges. We will always be under attack. We will always have people outside of our home trying to take pictures of us. But ambush won't work. Our faith will continue to be tested and our strength tried again and again. But I took an oath today. I made a commitment to all of you as your Attorney General to never waver in my responsibility to you and the pursuit of justice. And as my pastor teaches me, your arms are too short to box with God. So, I'm here to promote meaningful change, to keep our families safe, to defend the laws of this great state, and to move our communities forward. Thank you so much for this great opportunity and for this honor to continue to serve every New Yorker. May God continue to bless America, and may God bless this great state of New York, and of course, may God bless all of you. Thank you.